Everyone wants more power and authority and more status. And in the 1960s and 70s, you had the rise of new journalism, right? And the old guard, the traditional journalists who regarded themselves objective, right, they'd attack the new journalists who became increasingly popular. They'd say, oh, these new journalists, they don't care about facts, they don't abide by journalistic protocol. And the new journalists say the old journalists would skew the facts because of their own biases built into the very procedures that objective journalists use. And both types of narratives, fall within a single fact-fiction matrix that has dominated English language discourse for the past 400 years, reading from something Professor Sandra Brahman published in 1984, The Facts of El Salvador, according to objective and new journalism. All right, where they differ is in the methods used to discern what is fact and the relationship of fact and reality. So traditional journalists primarily rely upon the pronouncements of bureaucracies, while the new journalists would talk to people outside of bureaucracies. Right? So facts for public consciousness are usually determined by procedures that depend upon organizational descriptions of reality. Right? Something becomes a fact because a bureaucracy has declared it so. Right, these facts are very sharp, they're categorizable, they're easily processed, and they are valid because they're based on the bureaucratic manifestations of the dominant policy decisions of a community. Right, and if you follow what bureaucracies release for us, you're going to be able to steer clear of libel laws, and you'll be able to produce a product that you're going to be able to surround with advertising and make money. So reporters aren't allowed to know what their sources will not or do not tell them. This is traditional journalism. Now, the new journalism would be more idiosyncratic. It would rely more on detail. So Susan Sontag noted, to understand is to interpret, and to interpret is to restate, to find an equivalent. So procedures are used to record and interpret the daily sensory experiences of the writer, and events become newsworthy when they have an impact upon the writer. So new journalists work out of the human need to make sense out of their experience and to describe the world that they encounter. So Joan Didion would go to El Salvador and she would rely on her firsthand experience. She'd rely on her lying eyes.